Here's the new hero, Tavish Stormpike, a hero that I think I underestimated, mainly because of their buddy. If you don't know what this new hero does, you have a hero power. When you press it, you can do 4 things. Either shoot the lowest health, the highest health, the left side or right side most minion, and it deals 1 damage at first and it goes up every turn. So they deal 2 damage, 3 damage, 4 damage. And you see me aim high here, which is just gonna hit the highest health. And the Crab, which is the ability that he gets, just puts the stats from the damage dealt onto adjacent cards. So you play it, if you deal 5 damage, it's gonna add 5 stats to the left and right side most card to it. Only for the combat, it's not permanent unless you have tarecgosa, of course. So I've been just picking aim high because I feel like it is probably the most value you get out of the hero power early on. At least that's what I thought. Now facing this mill house, you see that I actually get kind of screwed over by aiming high. So it is actually pretty important to scout your opponents and know what to take. Most of the time I feel like aim high is the correct pick early on, but maybe depending on some matchups, aim left or aim low could be better. Aim low I feel like is not great because most of the time people might have like a 1-1 token on the board, so then aim left or aim right is what you gotta think about. I'm staying on 1, I'm just being strong and doing things kind of like usual, buying token pairs and hoping to triple soon. I aimed high here again. We were able to win this 50-50 onto the hyena, otherwise it was the rat. Maybe aiming right was better knowing they had a bunch of beasts. I expected tokens though. And here we found a third pair, which is the Trickster, which I think is worth it, especially since our Crab, we could put it in between the Tricksters to get them pretty big and get some good value out of it. So I've just been thinking about what is the best hero powers that we push, and I think as soon as we see people tripling, we start picking right, because people might have milk, they might have avenge cards on the right side of our board trying to get some value, and then it's probably better. Now still aiming high against Curator, got some good value here. We sniped a 1-4 and because of that we're able to win the fight as well. Buddy meter going strong, we should get it next turn, which is rather early. I mean, it's the turn that most of the time you get your 3-star unit anyway, so I don't think it's early or late. It's just average, I'd say. We have a triple in the shop. You could go into a 4-drop next turn or this turn, but I think it's better to go into a 5. I want to really try out Menagerie with this guy, since we have a beast, which is going to be our buddy. We have a big demon, you know, that we like keeping around, and then we just find more tribes and we're good. Now against him, Brukan, we also did attack high. Ends up being fine because we're able to trade the taunt nicely now, and there's our Crab. A lot of people have been saying that Brukan is good when I called out Brukan being bad. Seems like people are, you know, not agreeing with me, which is fine. So far I just haven't seen Brukan do well in my lobbies, but again, time might tell different, so maybe we will see Brukan at the top of the tier list soon. Again, just what my experience is so far. So we triple into a 5 here. I'm trying to hit a good scaling card. We hit trash. Like both Murozond and the Tavern Tempest are economy. I'm trying to figure out what to do, and I think I just take Baron because it's tempo. Like I have 2 big Tricksters here, so you know this is gonna keep me alive. Maybe I could justify leveling then next turn, looking for more things, because leveling is more expensive. I would have to sell in order to level next turn, and this time this guy tripled into a 4 and stayed down, so I'm gonna aim right instead of aim high. And guess what, we did well. If we aimed right or high, it would have been the same outcome, but we were able to snipe their champion. Interestingly enough, people have not been playing around my hero power that much. Throughout the game you will see that people don't really play around me, and I played around people playing around me. There's a trip on the shop though, so I guess we don't level. What do I sell though? I think I have to sell the Baron. Baron has solo impact on this board. It's probably not going to be good for long, and I'm not selling my pair or my Crab here, so I have to sell the Baron. I found scaling. Mitrex is like okay, but I think it's always Lightfang or Bran, and I prefer Lightfang in this situation since we still need to set up a board. Bran might not be good for a couple turns, so I need to find the buff still, buy good tribes, while Lightfang will passively already scale up cards that I'm gonna keep, like the Crab and probably the Demon. And there's a good mech in the shop, a good dragon, it's fine. I'm probably rolling double selling Tabby Cats because I don't want them being buffed at all, and maybe finding a better tribe to put in. Sadly, no better tribe. I can just take a mug. And we're fine. Second buddy we should get in a couple turns. It's still pretty far away, but I want to find a tarecgosa. Tarecgosa here would be nuts, way better than with a Promo Drake, because Promo Drake again is gonna put less stats onto tarecgosa than I would with the Crab. I'm still aiming right here because I feel like people will still put good stuff on the right side. Now he put a Divine Shield on the right side, the smallest guy, and I dealt no damage, and because of that the Crab gave no buffs. That's something I didn't know was gonna happen. If I hit the Divine Shield, the Crab does 0 buffs, so we lost the fight and we got nothing onto our Trickster and our Bronze Sword in that turn. I decided to stay down. I could definitely consider leveling, but there's so much to hit still. A triple into Trickster, a module, maybe Jug. Argus is okay. Maybe tarecgosa. I think it will still be in time to play it. And if you ever wonder when is it too late for tarecgosa on this hero, never. Never. And if you wonder why, you will see later on. I'm gonna find the tarecgosa eventually, spoiler alert. I'm not gonna tell you when, so you know, try and figure out when, but it is still in time and it will still grow incredibly well. So we aimed high, left cleave at 1 HP sadly, so it didn't do much. Aiming right would have been better here, hitting that tank. So it's always like a constant scouting thingy. Like I have no clue what is best against most of the opponents. Also because the meta is new, I don't know when people spike. I don't know what would be optimal to do or what people's board looks like most of the time. And I also don't know how well people play around me. If I aim right, I feel like most people will play around me aiming right because they will just lose on the spot. But so far, again, no one has played around it except for the person that put a Divine Shield right side, which was pretty odd and unexpected. I'm still staying down. This turn was really bad. I pretty much did nothing, but yeah, again, you can make the argument of leveling. Maybe that's hindsight thinking, because there is still so much good stuff that I can find here on tier 4 and below. Facing Eudora, who got like the gold scaling buddy, and they got a massive yeah, frog with that. So they also have Light Fang, they also have a Menagerie setup, good Cyclone as a good elemental, they have their Deflectable as their mech. We're able to win though, like even though while we're doing nothing, we're able to kill this Eudora. Like this turn was nothing, we played a Jug, and that's really good and fun because that means that we can now win games with tempo Menagerie boards. You can win games just tripling into Light Fang and just buying Jugs and playing a strong board and doing tempo stuff. And that's what I felt like yesterday. All of the games I played, I just played kind of like the previous patch, not the last one with the Avenge, but before that, where you could just play tempo Menagerie comps. So that's why I'm not leveling here. I'm staying down, trying to play strong, because if I level, I'm scared of dying. I still want to hit the triple, still want to hit tarecgosa. Finally hit the triple. I still want to hit module as well for this egg. So many things that I can do to optimize this board, and maybe this will help me. A Spore would be good, a Brand would be good. I hit trash though, none of this is good at all. So I guess we'll just take the minimal buffs. You could argue for the macro, but again, if I find a module, I could put it on macro, but then the egg is still there. It becomes a little bit awkward. Now, aiming, what do? They have 5 beasts. They're either Golden Beast or Mama Bear Beast. I expect Golden Beast, so aiming right hits Baron, but I think they're gonna play around it. There's no way you don't play around a Tavish when you're playing a combo beast comp, so I'm gonna hit left because most of the time that is gonna be good. Most of the time that's gonna hit the Macaw that they put there, or a Hydra if they're Mama Bear Beasts. Let's say they're not Golden Beast, then I can snap the Mama. Turns out they have a Frogger left, and then a Mama on the right side that they didn't play around, so I could have just aimed right. You could also aim low, I guess, against these comps. That's a little bit spooky still, but it would have been a 50-50 here between the Mama Bear and the Frogger still, so I don't know if that 50-50 is worth. And here we got a triple and a tarecgosa and shot. So now level, I guess we can shoot for a Mulligans at this point. We have no Brand yet, and you know, just a couple tribes, but it's still better than nothing. Or a Meixna. We had none of that, so I guess we'll just take another tribe for a little bit. And so here's tarecgosa, and again, it's top 4. It is already rather late, but try to figure out how big this is gonna get into 1 or 2 turns. It's really hard to wrap your head around it, but this golden crab, you'll see. I'm not gonna spoil it, but our hero power deals a lot of damage already. I don't know what turn it is. I might do like 11 damage at this point. I decided to aim right against Gendis. I forgot why, but I feel like aiming high, or I just didn't want to hit a Divine Shield. That's the issue. I am able to snipe a Baron, which is pretty good. I do deal 11 damage, so it's turn 11, and my tarecgosa is 28-28. In one turn, this tarecgosa is bigger than most cards on my board that have been scaling with Light Fang for multiple turns and with Jugs. That's how nuts it is, because it doubles the stats. It's plus 20, plus 2, plus 22, plus 22 that it got. Now, it is really important though that I don't hit a Divine Shield, because otherwise I lose the fight. Like, hitting a Divine Shield is a disaster. I just lose on the spot. And even though at first I thought, okay, Tavish could be okay, you can like pop Divine Shields with your hero power, but if you're playing a comp that revolves around this crab, like where the crab is a big part of your scaling or your stats, then you really can't afford to think about it that way. We're up against Curator, who we know probably has like at least 2 Divine Shield cards, because they have double their Mishmash and their Amalgam that are probably moduled by now. So I can't really aim right side because usually a big taunt is there. Left maybe is the other one, and he could have other Divine Shield cards. If I aim high, it probably hits one of those two as well. So I think we gotta aim low. I don't think we have much of an option. They're reading elementals as well, so you could have cyclones in there. But aiming low most of the time, that could be a Dazzling or a Nomi or whatever, a Major Domo. I don't know what scaling they are currently using, but just to guarantee that we get some scaling onto the Tarek and some stats onto Trickster. Like, the Trickster is massive. The Trickster also needs that golden crab buff. As you can see, it's a 31-31, but with that extra crab buff, it's a 55-55. Small difference because the health also goes into other targets. So we're correct. Aiming low was the only hero power that would gain the stats this turn. We lose, but this person only has 2 big taunts. They only have, you know, their Mishmash and their Amalgam. Other than that, they have no board. So if I just play Ghoul or some bumpers and some poison, I should easily beat him with what I have right now. So this tarecgosa is still a 54-54 already in 2 turns, facing a ghost, and I'm just still buying buffs. I bought Ghoul and Spore. Now of course I can't play both, so I need to figure out which one would be better here. It also depends if the gender survives or not. We're up against the beast player, who's dead, so aiming right was good. They put their mama bear in right spot last time we faced them. Now they have a baron in that spot with the frog, still pretty good. So we get our guaranteed scaling. Tarek is at 82-82. Like, I just want to keep pointing it out. We found it so late, and it's still gonna be 100 next fight, like in no time. And if we can still Divine Shield it, and it's still the biggest card on my board. So guys, just roll for Tarek. And here I got disconnected. It just disconnected for me. I was gonna pick up Selfless as a bumper, and I had Spore, so we were in a really good spot to maybe compete with him, and my game crashed. I've never seen this before. My game crashed. I relaunched. It didn't want to start again. I was kicked out of the lobby. Whether I got first or second, we'll never know. I feel like I was in a good spot to counter him and get first, but again, speculation. Thanks for watching though. Hope you enjoyed this Tavish gameplay. I think he's a really fun and flexible hero with a lot of options. I'm thinking about the hero power. Really strong with the crab, and that's about it. Have a good day. I'll see you in the next one.